card games and comics fans! Welcome to another bright, awesome, and sunny episode of the weekly Wednesday Warrior, sponsored by POW Card Games and Comics. My name is Skylar Hathaway.
I'm Chris Potter.
We are back.
It's been a little while.
It's been a little while. I'm gonna go grab my soda.
Yeah.
We're back, and we're here, and we have comics.
Yeah.
And we're gonna review them.
Yeah, at least Skylar's been especially raving. This week was a great week of comics.
We've had 2 good weeks, 2 really good weeks. I don't know what happened last. Oh, Chris was busy last week, so we couldn't do it and stuff.
Yeah.
But we had 2 great weeks of comics, and we are back. Well, we're going to start this off with honorable mentions as usual. And honorable mentions, we usually try to keep this week to week.
Yeah.
We're making an exception here, POW Card Games and Comics
Because
fans.
this is the best book.
Boom! Transformers number 4 came out last week, and if you ain't pulling this, you're stupid, and you don't like children. Yeah, I'm judging you hard if you ain't pulling this book.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so inspired. This is being created by a man who's been wanting to do something like this his entire life. His entire life is maybe culminated to this very moment where he got the phone call from Robert Kirkman, the man who made The Walking Dead, said, "Hey, dude, I want you to write Transformers and draw Transformers." And D-Dubs was like, there is a God, you know?
Yeah.
So, holy shit, he's pulling it out. He's kicking ass. Everything looks dope. Here is the big, giant downside to this. Big news just happened recently. I knew it was coming. I think Chris did too, but some people are being surprised by it.
Yeah.
He's leaving the book, art-wise,
Yes.
after issue 6. It is being taken up by, I already forgot his name.
Okay.
George Corona.
Jorge Corona, yeah.
Corona.
He's
Jorge.
solid,
George Jorge.
but nothing amazing.
I'd go as far as to say he's not great.
Okay.
Yeah. Who's gonna open for Elvis Presley? Who's gonna open for the Beatles? Who's gonna follow
Yeah.
the Beatles? Who's gonna follow Elvis
You know what,
Presley?
though? I saw Ryan Ollie was doing that Energon book. I was like, is he doing Transformers? I'd be okay with that.
There are Ryan Stegman. There are people they could have picked, but they couldn't pay those people.
Yeah.
So they picked Jorge Corona.
They blew their money on D-Dubs.
They blew their money on D-Dubs, which is fine.
And D-Dubs got his return in full.
And everybody else did, up to and including Image. That issue 1 sold. Crazy.
Yeah.
So, here we are. Issue 4. It's phenomenal. The Decepticons are really well written. The Autobots are really well written.
Yeah.
There's a lot of... I can't explain the depth in this comic and the themes that have to do with, like, war, science, space, family, relationships, human beings being conscious, what the definitions of all of those things are. The man's tackling all sorts of stuff in a matter of 24 pages.
If you're a fan of Transformers, regardless of D-Dubs, which you should become a D-Dubs fan by reading this book, he has a great voice for all these characters.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest Transformers guy, so maybe I'm wrong, but
Me
I
less.
feel like just how he writes these characters is very true to them.
Yeah.
Especially with Optimus. I've heard a bunch of people who have been like, this is my favorite Optimus in years. He just gets this character.
Yeah.
Which is not something you hear very often, because it's a truck guy.
Yes.
But he brings a lot of depth to it. His human characters are great. You know, if you've ever read Murder Falcon, it's almost a similar thing he's doing, where he's like, we have this mascot character who's this big robot, and then we have these human characters who prop him up.
Yeah.
And it's all great. And the art looks fantastic.
We're not reviewing this book, so we have to move on now.
There's our summary. It's awesome. Buy it.
Jesus Christ, dude. All right. My next honorable mention is Guardians of the Galaxy number 10.
Whose cover is it?
I don't know who did this, but it's the ROM variant cover. I should know who did this cover. Luciano.
Oh, cool.
Emanuela Luciano, something like that. Good stuff. Yeah, solid cover. Issue 10. The next issue is the last issue.
Yeah, I heard that.
And it's
kind of random, but
it's an annual. It's 10 issues and an annual. Annual's the last
I thought
issue.
it was 11.
Yeah.
Okay.
Weird. I like it though. 11 issues.
Yeah.
Feels good, nice.
And
Feels good.
we've I don't know, just how I've been inbred or like built with comics. I'm like 12. 12 is the number.
12.
Getting one off from that, I'm like, that's weird.
No, I like it. I like 10
And
and
I
an
think,
annual. Because even 12, usually there's an annual usually with 12.
Yeah. And with this book too, we talked to them before. I think
Yeah.
they're ending this of their own fruition. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's not because it's not selling or anything like that.
They had this 10-issue story and an annual.
Yeah,
you know,
they're telling
good
it.
for them.
Really solid stuff.
Yeah.
I did take a few notes on here, but the notes ended up being 3 notes that were the same notes that we've been talking about in the prior issues. It's like they're really consistent. The characters are really consistent. The story's consistent. There's no beats skipped. Everything's coming together. It's really interesting stuff. They're giving a reason to read a space comic. The Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing. Kev Walker is the guy who's drawn this whole thing, almost all of it.
Yeah.
He's inking himself this issue. I noticed he had an inker in the last issue.
Oh, wow.
Probably deadline reasons, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But,
I'm pretty sure he's been the inker for most of them.
yeah. I think he took a book off when Hulkling Wiccan issue came in. I think that was not him drawing that, which made sense because it's a different team.
Yeah.
But Kev Walker's been killing it. This book's really, really well put together. And it's a great Guardian story.
I'd say it's a good follow-up from the Donny Cates book, not because they have similar themes, but you want to continue reading those characters. If you're reading a great Guardians book, here's where you go to next.
Speaking about Elvis Presley and the Beatles, it's been Cates, Al Ewing, and then Kelly and Lansing. So they had to
put
follow
their talent on this book,
and they had to follow some pretty big names. So
and I've heard the Al Ewing stuff is good too. I just haven't gotten a chance to.
Same. I'll read it. I'll read Al Ewing books. So sold, bought, sold, print. This is great. If you haven't been pulling it, trade paperback soon. Yeah. Probably hardcover soon. They like their money.
Yes. I would wait till it's all in one
up.
collection. I'm sure they're going to do a Donny Cates-esque.
Yeah, it'll read
all
way-
11 issues, one like $40 book.
I can't say it will read way better that way because this is a book I enjoyed reviewing when we did get to review it. I thought some of those.
A lot of those,
issues,
the first 5 especially, they're
really
strong. Rocket issue, strong on its
Really
own.
strong.
That issue with the 2 warring factions, the first issue, to a lesser extent, it's just kind of an introduction.
Yeah.
It's one of those rare books that walks the line between being a monthly and an ongoing.
Yeah.
You know, it really manages itself. Like, each issue is satisfactory on its own.
Yeah, hella consistent in that way, too. If this is one of the most consistent comics I'm reading. I'm not a big Marvel guy. I'm not a big DC guy. I'm a big Batman guy.
I would even say you're not even a big Guardians guy outside the movies.
And I'm not even a big, Guardians movie guy. I just think they're good movies. Yeah. So, to read this comic, the reason I'm sitting here is Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing. 11 issues later, reason I'm still sitting here, Colin Kelly, Jackson Lansing.
Right.
I'm keep reading these dudes' stuff as long as it forays around the areas that I like. Yeah. And that excludes Captain America, unfortunately.
Which I've heard is good, too.
I'm sure is fine, but Guardians I can swallow. I like space stuff.
Yeah.
All right, keeping this going. Here's a book Chris did not read. Has nothing to do with, but I'd suggest to anybody. John Constantine, Hellblazer, Dead in America.
Oh, that started?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Cy Spurrier, Campbell. Aaron Campbell is back. This book, they've done this book before. Yeah. This was part of what was called Sandman Universe. Had nothing to do with Sandman Universe at all. It was 14 issues of John Constantine. Yeah. It was very Hellblazer.
It's tangentially related in that Hellblazer was in Sandman once or twice.
Yeah, it's so
tangentially related.
It's ridiculous that they needed a reason to put a Hellblazer book out. Cy Spurrier had a story he wanted to tell and was writing all of the other Sandman universe.
I didn't know this came out. Is this self-contained enough I could start there, or do I...
Get into that.
Okay.
So the Sandman universe stuff was kind of given to him by Neil Gaiman. Neil Gaiman owned all of that stuff and didn't want anybody writing it unless he gave the say, and he did. So this guy, Cy Spurrier, must have something going. Right. He's written titles for Marvel. He's written titles for DC.
Not only that, I know the Sandman characters are in this, right?
Yes. Get into that.
Yeah, sorry. I'm jumping the gun.
I'm glad Chris is excited.
I didn't know this book came out. Yeah. I'm kind of excited. I heard about it a while ago.
So, but I really have to say, yes, the answer to your question, you can read this without reading the first 12. Okay. In fact, or in a rare situation, there is a summary in the beginning of this issue. Nice. Very unlike DC to do that. They really want people to buy this. Yeah. But the other 12, 14 issues are phenomenal. Had nothing to do with the Sandman universe. Cy Spurrier just wanted to write a Hellblazer book. Yeah. And was given the reins to Sandman and went, yeah, I could do anything I want. Let's do it. And so he did. And now that stuff is dead, by the way. There's no Sandman universe stuff being solicited anymore.
It's the Tinian book is the only thing that's done.
But Hellblazer's back.
I know.
So Cy Spurrier had something going there, and he's still keeping it going. This book was phenomenal. In the way that it's feeding everything I want from a Hellblazer book.
Yeah.
It's not like there's not a lot of depth there. It's got depth. It's like there's like some family stuff and like some comments on being a bad person as usual that comes with a Hellblazer book. But it's very Hellblazer, so it's got all that stuff in it, and it doesn't really need to be said a whole lot more. Cy Spurrier, he might talk like John Constantine. The way he has John talk is the way John should talk.
Yeah.
Is the way Alan Moore wrote him in Swamp Thing.
I think he's just a great writer, because he seemed just like a polite English dude when I listened to him speak at Comic-Con.
He has some things that I don't like.
Yeah, we talked about Flash on the show. Scott was not a fan.
Weird. And maybe he might go somewhere with it where I come back and read it, because what Deodato's doing on that book hits different. Which was cool.
Okay. I thought you didn't like his art on that book.
I don't like it. It's not for Flash, but it hits different.
It's cool. I like this.
It hits way different. But it's not. Man, dark. It's like, would you put Simon Kudranski on Flash? The answer is probably. I love that guy.
Yeah.
But then
I'm gonna be honest. If I was in charge of DC, books would be terrible. I would just put people I like on shit.
No, books would be great if I was in charge. I wouldn't do that. I would do that, but my taste is great. I have phenomenal taste. Yeah. I'm so good at this. Okay, we need to buy this. It's so worth it. It was so much fun. Really well written. It's gonna be a great story. It just like. I don't know. I didn't even know Chris was interested. Maybe if he read this probably would have been on the show. Actually, this probably would be right after Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
It was maybe the same, just as good as Wonder Woman. Titans is this far in my honorable mentions for one thing. Whenever somebody does a tie-in that's good, I think that deserves like a bump above like a regular book.
Okay.
Tie-ins are so tough.
Yeah.
You can't, and I will say he's writing the event. So
this is his book.
Probably a little easier for him to do the tie-in. But here's another note. This is Titans number 7. It's a tie-in, but it's so Titans number 7.
Okay.
You don't need to be reading Beast World. He did us all a favor by doing this. If you're reading Beast World, it would make a lot more sense. But you don't need to. You can just know what Through the Titans are and get through this book. What happened in this book? Tempest is no longer being brainwashed.
Oh,
that was the goal of the book. And what is that?
That's actually important. Cool.
That's a Titans thing, not a Beast World thing. So, again, my man, Tom Taylor, killing it. This dude, fucking great. He's doing this Beast World book because this man has, just lucked himself into bad luck in a way.
Yeah. So
you are Tom Taylor, it's the year 2018, you get a call, hey, we want you to write a DC book, what do you want to write? I can do Nightwing. Oh, okay, great. Somebody's about to leave that, friggin' Jurgens is about to leave that book. We could use somebody on it like you. Okay, great. Can I bring Bruno Redondo? Sure. Yeah. Okay, he gets the book. They kill it! They friggin' kill it! They kill it
so...
They win
Eisners, they win awards.
They kill it so hard that they're like, let's just stop the Justice League book. Okay, this is a little tangential I'm making. This is a big bridge, but it's all relevant.
It's a little leap, but whatever.
Okay, a little relevant. Justice League book stops. Nightwing becomes top 3 DC sellers next to Batman and other stuff like that. And this continues. So, okay, this guy, Tom Taylor, he's got stuff. He's making books that sell. Nightwing was a bad book.
He keeps
for years
putting the Titans in his book.
All these other books he's doing are selling too, like the Superman book and all this other stuff. What do we do, Tom? Do you want to do something more? We just got rid of the Justice League. We could use a Titans book. Well, it's funny you say that. I had a story in mind.
Yeah. This
guy, Tom Taylor, being a Nightwing mark for sure. Probably has a Titans story that he's held for who knows how long. It's okay. Now he's writing Titans. The Give. DC's like, we'll let you do this.
We need our Justice League event of the year.
We need an event book. Do you think you could do it? Also, there's going to be a 2-month hiatus that'll help you write this event. Also, it's going to be complicated when you come back. And this dude, I feel like, has been thrown every curveball. Yeah. And anybody else would have flopped. Anybody else would have flopped this. The issue we came back on, I think it was issue 2 of Titans. Yes. Or issue 3, maybe. The re-comeback of Titans. Yeah. Though issue 1 again was great. It made it on the show.
Yeah.
So the fact that this dude is doing all this stuff, okay, but now he's got to do Beast World. Not great. It's okay. It's an event book. It's trying to please an audience that isn't the people reading Nightwing, really. Or the people
Titans.
reading Titans. But it's going to bring people into reading those books, hopefully, which will be sweet.
And it got Yvonne Hayes on a DC book for one last time.
2 issues.
Yeah.
2 issues. He left.
That's
That's 2 issues
great.
in. 3rd issue, somebody else. I've never even heard of him.
I think he is coming back. I think Thomas said something about it.
Like
But,
maybe, but
he's done.
yeah, it's this event and he's gone. So anyway, so the Beast World stuff met, but this tie-in was sweet. They really kept the ball rolling. All the beats are there. I'm sure it gives even more worth to Beast World itself. I'm really bad at summarizing stories, so that's what's lacking here. All that I remember is that it was good. What's his name? Travis Moore is on the art.
Travis Moore.
He's been doing like fill-ins in Nightwing, fill-ins in.
He's pretty much the Nightwing artist right now. Bruno Redondo is not doing that book.
It's true, and he's doing a good job on Nightwing. I think we're gonna get to that. I think maybe
someone else is doing it this week, but it was good still.
But he was. I swear that he was doing the fill-ins for Dan Mora on World's Finest too. Wasn't that also
he did that circus issue with Robin that looked good.
This dude's
and I
good.
think the date one too.
And the writers we like his stuff and keep bringing him onto the stuff to do the stuff that he's doing. So this Titans number 7, double thumbs up. Like if Chris had more time and I had the foresight to tell him to read it, I thought he would have read it anyway.
Yeah.
Probably would have got a little bit more summary in here. But all I can tell you is read this book, even if you're not reading Beast World. It's totally worth it. Moving on to the meat.
Oh, cool.
The sandwich. Finally, Chris has been waiting here patiently.
Hey, man.
We have Wonder Woman number 5.
Boom.
He has the regular Daniel Sampier cover. I have this Julian Totino Tedesco cover.
Oh, that guy. Cool.
This is just sweet looking. I don't know. I'm not like a fan of this dude. He just killed it. It was $1 more, but whatever. This story's real simple, so I'm going to go quick.
Do it.
Wonder Woman wants to make sure that her literal sisters, basically, don't have any part in the action she's going to take in regards to this now war declared upon Amazon by the United States of America. And the way she does that is she brings back some Amazonian laws. She goes and challenges them to, like...
I think they call them, like, rights.
Whatever it's called. I was going to say the Mako, which is a Klingon reference.
Yeah.
It's like this real, like, almost barbaric, like, law, like, if I can beat you in a challenge, you have no challenge on me anymore, and you can't question my decisions. So she goes and she beats all of her sisters. She beats Donna Troy in video games, which was surprising and fun. Yeah. Really well drawn.
I would even say that was a big wink at Tom Taylor, because they're playing Injustice, they're in Titan's Tower.
And I'd say that Tom Taylor's been doing a couple winks at Tom King, too, funny enough. Yeah. I love this back and forth between these guys. The battle of the Toms within the panel. There are inside jokes going on right
There's
now.
a great one in Nightwing, too. That's like one of my few notes for Nightwing. There's a great inside joke.
There is. We're totally getting to it. I'm glad you caught it.
Oh, yeah.
So they're battling. There's I'm really bad at the other Wonder Girls. Nubia. Yeah. She gets caught in a classic arrowing.
No, it's Yara Flor. It's the Nubia's like a different, not Wonder Girl character.
I don't read Wonder Woman books. The other two Wonder Girls.
It's Cassie Sandsmark, Yara Flor, Donna Troy.
Sandsmark, huh?
Sandmark, something like that.
For the life of me, I couldn't even tell you what their backstories are. And I don't want you to either. So
I don't
We're
either.
skipping that.
I know one of them is the Young Justice one is the Titans one is the new one.
TMI. She challenges him. She beats him. What a surprise. She's Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
The book's named after her.
And this book has gone out of its way to be like, Wonder Woman is the best at everything.
So, meanwhile, Sergeant Steele is team building, and as per usual, the King of the United States is narrating the whole thing to what we assume is her daughter in the future, also the daughter of our initial instigator who created the problem in issue 1.
Yes.
Bringing it all together! Alright. At the end of the issue, she gets caught. Barbaric law. Who cares? These young girls tell her, eat shit, we're helping you anyway.
Yeah.
Big old splash page, looks sweet. Daniel Sampier's killing it. This whole issue.
Oh, yeah.
Whole issue, 5 issues. Killing it, just killing it. And that's the issue. And Sergeant Steele is his team as well. We get like a bunch of cool people, like the Triangle or something. And
I wrote
there's
them down.
Some flying chick. And like Giganta. Giganta was the best part. You open the comic and it's all sweet. It's like, we had to defeat this woman and she was made of steel and the best thing America ever saw, and how else do we do it? Flip the page, Giganta.
Yeah. Well, it's cool because it's just like a
Huge.
shot of her, like in her
Huge.
cell, and then
Yeah.
they do this cool shot where it's a pan down, so you
Yeah.
just see how big
Yeah,
she
Sergeant
is.
Steele's like the size of her pinky toe.
Yeah.
It's really good, and she's smiling. She's like, "Oh man, no."
And they
problem."
brought Grail back, which I didn't expect.
All
That
sorts
was
of people.
random as hell.
I've never heard of half of these people they bring in, but
Grail was like a Jeff Johns character from the Dark Side War, and she like is real weird because she's
Yeah.
kind of a Wonder Woman character, kind of a New Gods character. She's Darkseid's daughter.
great.
Weird shit. I didn't expect Tom King to make that.
I will say, totally tracks. That Tom King, big nerd boy.
Yeah.
That dude loves these deep cuts.
Also,
Loves
wrote
these
for
deep
Dark
cuts.
Side War.
Yeah.
We talked about it on the show before. He did a Green Lantern story for that.
Yeah, he's totally about to kite man this Triangle Man too.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
about to have a whole new.
There's a whole page about how he's the coolest guy ever.
We're gonna get a
They're like,
whole new.
he
meme
solved the
character.
anti-life equation. The only one who can stand up to Wonder Woman in a physical fight. I'm like, okay.
I'm so ready for Triangle Man.
Yeah. What's he called? Not just Triangle Man. He's
Angular
Angle Man.
Angle
Yeah.
Man.
He knows
His like
angles.
last name's like Angelo, and his first
Yes.
name's like something also that has to do with like angles. It's really a huge. You know, this was some like 1960s offshoot Wonder Woman character. 3 appearances, never talked about again.
Yes.
And here Tom King is bringing him back to be probably the best character in the next 6 issues.
Yeah.
So the story, not a lot of depth there or anything like that. This is the least like depth-driven issue, but it still made it on the show because of A, how consistent it is.
Yeah.
B, the art's phenomenal. Daniel St. Pierre's killing it. C, the book was really good, just aside from not being depth-driven. It doesn't,
Yeah, it just has great writing.
doesn't.
throughout.
Yeah, it doesn't need to say
I like
something.
how all the characters are written. I feel like even if you didn't know them, did it maybe give you like a little
Yeah, you got some-
appreciation for them?
Yeah, because Tom King is so good. Literally every character, actually. And that was one of my notes. Every character feels fleshed and motivated.
Yeah.
Every character. This is an example of how good Tom King is at using his medium. There's one character, she can like turn people into animals or something. I
Yeah,
guess.
seriously.
4 panels devoted to her, to one page, to getting her on the team against Wonder Woman. And it says more or less in narration from the King of the United States, she didn't want to join the team, didn't go well for Sergeant Steele, but she did in the end.
Yeah.
And the last panel's just like a pig with like a metal hoof.
Yeah.
It was nothing but her tending to her pigs.
It's
And the last panel's the pig with the hoof. How much does that say in 4 panels?
It's based on an Odyssey story.
You know, that's, yeah, and I didn't even put that together. You're totally right.
Yeah.
Dude, that dude was stuck as like a pig for like months, right?
Yeah, Odysseus. Or maybe he wasn't turned into a pig, but his crew was.
You're totally right.
Yeah.
Which just puts more depth into what
And
I
you know,
read.
that's the Wonder Woman
Didn't
lore.
even
We
put that
play
together.
with Greek mythology.
I bet that Tom King is doing this all the time, and me and Chris are missing a bunch of references to it, just because
Probably,
me and him aren't as adept at that kind of stuff as we, and we're probably more adept than Lane and Ethan.
I just had to read the Odyssey like 4 years ago for school. So
I read it once
It's
too.
a
I
bit.
know a lot of it, but that's one of the ones I forgot all about.
Yeah.
There was a cool way to do team building. The way that he actually he had the comic lay out and present itself. It wasn't a team building issue. Wonder Woman was doing the opposite. Actually.
Right, and that's kind of, it's cool because it shows off the differences in their characters. Wonder Woman wants to take the burden of this
Yeah.
conflict
Yeah.
so she can like release people from pain. Meanwhile, Sergeant Steele is putting them through conflict. Sergeant Steele / the Sovereign is putting them through conflict for their own goals. It's selflessness versus selfishness.
Yep.
It's great.
Some usual parallels in the Wonder Woman comic.
Yeah.
So again, with the consistency and stuff. And every character had like a great moment, like a time to shine, time to be like bigger than who they are, maybe even in their own titles or lack of titles for these villains
Yeah.
and stuff. They really like Triangle Man. By the end of the issue, me and Chris are now voting Triangle Man. We're more terrified of Triangle Man than we are the Daughter of Darkseid.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen with this Triangle Man. Daughter of Darkseid, I have an idea.
She can fight good.
She's going to be real angry and pissed.
Maybe has Omega beams.
Maybe she shoots a laser.
Yeah.
So sweet stuff. This book was sweet. You should pick it up. It's $5 to $6 and worth every penny. There's a backup in it. It's a more Trinity story, more further in Trinity. It was just fun. It's just like Tom King's ever commenting on like what it means to be Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And what the Trinity means, and what it represents, even bigger than just in DC continuity, but maybe to human beings that have grown up with these characters. And like every opportunity he gets, he gives Belden and Ortega a chance to get an actual shot. of the Trinity, the original Trinity, without them being there.
Yeah, there's
It's
that
like
shot at the end where they're all in the background.
statue or like a graffiti
mural, I think,
or a mural or every issue, almost every issue, I want to say. And it's always like below our new Trinity.
Yeah.
And it's almost like a splash page done in like, it is a splash page, but it's almost 2 panels.
Mm-hmm.
One panel.
I like how optimistic it is, too. I've never seen a telling of Damian as Batman, besides from Tom Taylor's DCeased, where he's not like the problem.
Yeah.
Because in like Grant Morrison's whole thing, Damian becoming Batman was like the worst possibility, almost. Yeah. I remember a story about that or something.
And he's really nailing these characters.
Yeah.
If Tom Taylor has built the groundwork for who
John
is, Tom King's just continuing it. And
I think he's continuing a couple people's legacies.
I was going to say Peter Tomasi is another guy.
And now he's adding his own legacy to it with this new character he's made.
And I love that. And I love that all of these guys, these 3 guys, like Tom King and Tom Taylor, guys who I'll read anything they do, even if I might not dislike everything, I might not love everything, but I'll read anything they do.
Yeah.
Peter Tomasi I won't as much, but I constantly say, this dude's great at characters.
Yes.
Peter Tomasi's so good at like being the voice of something.
Even if you don't like his books, his legacy is in books you like. Like we just talked about the Robin book for how many issues. Yeah. He really does a lot of that work establishing his personality.
Yeah, he's becoming like a Peter David guy even more. Just unsung hero, that nobody talks about. So give some credit where credit's due in that regard. I don't think we'd even have this Trinity backup without Peter Tomasi, and it's totally worth it. Like, I complain about backups all the time. This one, I'm happy every time I read it.
It's just solid, like, character writing. And it's all light, fluffy little affairs of these characters in their off time. It almost reminds me of, like, a JLI, where it's kind of like the workplace drama of superheroes. This is what happens behind the curtain when they're not having adventures.
But it's fun, it's page-turning, it adds depth to the characters, and Belen Ortega is doing just as good of a job on this side of the story as Daniel Sampier is doing on the Wonder Woman side of the story.
Gives her a chance to shine on her own.
You have anything to add to Wonder Woman?
Let's see.
Colors doing a good job.
I got in the little Injustice nod that he gave.
Yeah.
I thought that was cute. You know, if they're in Titan's Tower playing the Tom Taylor game.
Yeah.
Showing off the character. Oh, I really like the commentary about Wonder Woman has on both Batman and Superman. Yeah. I think it's interesting. Yeah. Like her take on them.
Yeah, and also that Tom King is continuing to play ball with everybody else writing comics when he probably doesn't have to. He's tying this to everything going on, more or less.
Yeah. He mentioned that was one of the things he was kind of excited to do again, was work with his friends, because he's now good friends with Chip and Joshua Williamson.
Everybody's writing is people it's like his graduating class, basically. Yeah. So, sweet stuff. Killing it, keeping it consistent, ongoing, totally worth buying this book. Buy this book. Moving on?
Yeah. Let's talk about another member of the graduating class.
We got Nightwing.
Tom Taylor.
It's funny that we were just talking about Tom Taylor, because Tom Taylor. He keeps getting on the show. Jeez, man. It's like Tom Taylor's show. Tom King, Tom Taylor's show.
Yeah.
With guest appearances by
Zdarsky.
Daniel Warren Johnson and Chip Zdarsky.
Yeah.
We're sorry. These are good. We promise these are good, okay? We got Nightwing.
Yeah.
I
I
totally did pull this cover. Okay, this is a buddy of mine's. The reason I want to pull this out, this cover's worth talking about.
It's a meme cover, yeah.
Yes, but usually the meme covers I hate. They're stupid. This is really well done. Okay, without this being a meme cover, remove the meme from your brain. Well, what does this cover tell you is going to happen in this comic book?
Nightwing and Superman are going to deal with angry Catboy Damian, who's messing with the city. I don't know.
Specifically,
I can't read that.
Oh, it says Bloodhaven.
Oh, cool.
Damian is knocking over a glass thing of Bloodhaven, and Nightwing's trying to tell him, don't you do that, and Superman's like, this is not going to go well. This is this is the summary for the issue, minus the Bloodhaven part. It doesn't happen in Bloodhaven. It's kind of a bait and switch.
Yeah.
But, this is their relationship, more or less, and I have a feeling I know it was dictated by Tom Taylor.
Yes.
But I have a feeling that the reason why it was dictated by Tom Taylor is he saw the same thing I'm seeing and went, that's so much that, and just told Bruno Redondo, yo, I'm gonna call it in for a week so you don't have to think too hard. Just do this.
Yeah.
It'll nail it, I promise. Totally did.
Every time they drop one of these covers, the Tom Taylor fans on Twitter alight talking about how amazing the meme covers are.
And this one's
They love them.
They probably do, but this one's stupid, but this one worked really well.
Yeah, no, it does more than usual reflect the story rather than just it's a funny reference to something you're aware of.
Yeah. All right, so I think I can do this one pretty quick too. So, Beast World is happening. This is another Beast World tie-in.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel like a Beast World tie-in, though, would you say, right? Let's say Beast World wasn't happening.
I mean, you
Let's
could
say
divorce it from Beast World, and I would understand, but
The only thing
you would have to set it up.
The only thing you'd be missing, and actually the setup for this was not done in Beast World either. It was in the back of another book. Okay, what happens in the story? Nightwing calls Superman, yo, Damian's been turned into a cat. More or less. I'm skipping up a couple beats here. And so they go looking for Damian. They find him in Thunderdome. Tom Taylor is Australian.
Yeah.
The
Mad Max movies.
Mad Max movies are Australian. They find him in Thunderdome. There's some rough stuff happening. It's like this big hockey stadium in somewhere Bloodhaven, maybe actually.
Yeah.
And so they have to rescue him out of this Thunderdome thing, which a Thunderdome is basically it's like a gladiator fight kind of thing. And there's this big bear creature, Gale, the Slayer. And it's out there and it's trying to kill Damian, and Damian's a little cat creature and is getting beat up for a while, and Superman is like scanning the building X-ray from the outside so he doesn't get Beast World infected. Nightwing, being Nightwing, is undercover in the place, watching the thing go down. They have to be reserved because if they go in, it's going to cause a problem, and Superman's going to get abducted by green alien Starro things. Totally doesn't matter. This whole Beast World thing can totally just be shuffled off to a corner. Okay. Things start to turn around. There was a moment where this character, Apex Lex, they also introduced in this thing.
Yeah, the beginning of the issue.
She directs Damian to attack. So the whole thing's been an act. Damian's more capable, of course. Yeah. Makes a lot of sense once that happens because we're like, this was weird anyway. Maybe the Beast World thing threw his attack off. I don't know. It was believable for a moment until it wasn't. And then Damian goes and kills this bear damn near. And then that's when things get involved. Both Dick and Superman go in to stop Damian from killing the bear at the same time. Yeah. They rescue him. They rescue everybody else. This Apex Lex lady gets away. She turns into a bird, flies away, and then the issue ends with them doing like a little like Goku Vegeta fist bump.
They help Damian. They somehow get the thing out of him.
Yeah, right. They put him in front of Superman, and he's hanging there. He's
Superman.
Hanging there, and Superman's holding him, and the cat's fighting and trying to get out, and Superman's like, why hasn't it popped out yet? Wouldn't it want to jump to the more powerful person? And Dick's like, Damian thinks he's more powerful than you.
Yeah.
And so to this Starro thing, it also thinks it's more powerful than you. And Nightwing's like, but like, give it like 5 minutes, it'll figure it out. And like, 2 panels later, the thing jumps out, gets murdered by Superman's beams. Everybody's happy. Issue wraps up. All right, cool. Good summary. Good issue. No backup. Right?
Yeah.
Right? No backup?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm so glad these backups are chopped out of here.
I feel like they're gonna be back.
They were so bad.
I don't know how to feel about that.
So, I don't know if they're coming back. I hope not. All right, so there's a lot here. This issue, as quick as my summary was, there's a lot going on. The first thing that I wanted to mention is there's this dynamic that has been built mostly by Tom Taylor, but by other characters through history as well, between Nightwing and Superman.
Yeah.
Superman and Damian.
Yeah.
Damian and Nightwing.
Yes.
All of these, it's like a love circle without the like romantic.
It's like Morrison does Dick and Damian, Tomasi does Damian and John, Tom Taylor's been doing John and Dick.
And I'd say almost all three of those characters have like played with the other characters in the same fashions as well.
And it'll make sense. Nightwing has such a rich history with Superman. It's one of the biggest, most important beats in every Batman re-origin is the moment Robin meets Superman, who's almost as much his idol as Batman.
So I ask you, with this background, does this sound like, with that fact being like the groundwork for this issue, does that sound like a Beast World tie-in?
No, but
right?
It's
and that's kind of my point. Is another reason why this ended up being so high. This is a tie-in book.
Yeah,
it's written by the same guy who's writing the event book.
And it's damn near the Nightwing Superman crossover we already got. They're very similar in character beats.
But it is so well divorced from that, and like seeing Damian as a cat is so fun and rewarding that you don't need Beast World to justify it. It's comics.
It weirdly makes sense too with the whole anime direction they've been taking his interest in.
Does.
It's very like
that's not who was that? That's Williamson.
yes.
That's Zdarsky writing him, turning him into the cat. These guys, all these guys we were just talking about, like shaping all these other books with Tom King, they're shaping it all. There's such a mold that's just turning into this amazing thing that is the Bat books over at DC right now, that it's going as far as, now it's even in the Wonder Woman book, man. There's such good stuff to be taken away from this stuff. And that's one of the reasons I think that this is a little bit better than Wonder Woman, is because this book felt like the culmination of a lot of books that I've been reading for such a while.
Yeah.
It's a tie-in issue. What the hell business does this have to do that to me?
And it makes a new villain that Tom Taylor will probably play with for a little while.
The only thing I didn't like about that is Apex Lex was the name that they used for Lex Luthor during the Hellraiser
It's
event.
Rex, not Lex.
Oh, good. Oh, good,
Yeah.
good. Somebody, yo, those bad editorial guys, the bad editorial guys
Yeah,
are on it. They know what's going on. They getting paid. All right. What else? Oh, it's Apex Ava, even.
Oh, wow. Whatever.
Me and Chris probably have both the same idea or something. Okay, 110 issues.
Yeah.
110!
Even out of just what Tom Taylor has written, what are we on?
25 or 30. Yeah.
I think it's closer to 25.
Wow. Wowee. I can't believe we're on 110 issues. You know, and this is a great 110th issue.
Yeah.
Again, a tie-in, but still really, this is a Nightwing book. This is such a Nightwing book. This is
One of the things Tim Saley was doing at the beginning was reestablishing that Dick and Damian relationship that had been kind of absent because Dick was part of Spiral and Damian was dead for a minute.
Tom Taylor, man. Just, this guy's crazy. All right. I have a huge note. I'm just going to read it. It says, Taylor building character consistency, especially across John, Dick, Damian in this issue, makes reading rewarding, which makes the reader more invested and feeling good. I did feel good. This felt great.
Yeah.
It was so nice.
That's what I would describe it as, too. I'm not as over the moon about this issue, but it was a good read.
But
it felt good to read.
But is it could you divorce it from Beast World?
Right, and if that's the pretense that's on the show for,
That's
I understand
that's
that
one
perfectly.
That's one of them.
Yeah.
The other part
and then
is
it's just solid.
The other part is the how much groundwork is laid into what became this issue.
Yeah.
Like all of the things that he's pulling upon from everything else up to current events, up to current writers, you know, and building it all and turning it into an event tie-in.
Yeah.
I just
good stuff.
never seen somebody do something like this with an event tie-in.
Probably.
They're just not, they're always so lacking. And this is the polar opposite of that. We know these characters' capabilities. By now, 110 issues, especially if you're reading the other books, we know what Superman can do, we know what Nightwing can do, we know what Damian can do, right?
Yeah.
So there's no time spent on that nonsense. We find Dick...
It's like almost a trope of Tom Taylor's writing is that Dick doesn't get into fights very often because he ends fights as quickly as they start.
Dick...
He's like extremely competent.
We find Dick undercover in Thunderdome Stadium. We didn't see him get up and talk this over with Superman. No plan executed. We didn't see him put on any gear. He's just there. And we're like, that's Dick, that's Nightwing. Yeah. And then we see Superman X-raying the building from above, keeping an eye. That's Superman. That's also Batman telling Superman not to do something stupid. We've seen that one before, too. Just this, we know Damian, okay? He can hold it back. He can lay it on.
Yeah.
He's very, very articulate. He knows when to do things, when not to do things. And, like, so all the characters are you know, there's the thing, it reads really quick.
Yes.
Reads really quick. Story moves super fast. Penguin Kids.
Oh, yeah, the Chip Zdarsky Penguin Kids.
Totally didn't need to be in here. Tom King's writing a Penguin book, has written them into that. Zdarsky's the one who pulled these guys and created them, I think, to some degree or something like that. They're in here, they're in there, they're in Penguin. They're tying all this stuff together. Again, putting me away from Beast World a bit and reminding me of the other Bat books that are happening more. Gale the Slayer. We can finally get to your note. You want to elaborate further on Gale the Slayer here,
Chris? A little Gail Simone cameo. There's this ongoing joke between Tom Taylor and Gail Simone that Gail Simone is a bear who writes comics.
Yes.
I actually don't know why. Do you?
They're friends.
But like,
and I don't know where the in joke initially came from. I just know that it
must be just some behind closed door thing that one of them wrote on Twitter one day. So they just keep going with it.
Keeps going
because now it's kind of understood that Gail Simone is a bear to Tom Taylor.
And it's kind of funny.
That's cute.
The quote that's put in
cute.
there too, what they describe Gail the Slayer is, once a hairdresser, now cleans her teeth with the bones of the lesser.
Yeah.
I
I imagine that's autobiographical about Gail Simone.
Maybe she was a hairdresser.
She's got good hair.
I wanted to note, Nightwing has the coolest poses in there.
Yeah.
Superman looks cool. Damian looks cool. Nightwing looks freaking sweet in every panel. And I think for two reasons. One,
it's a Nightwing book.
And two, Superman and Damian look up to this guy.
Yeah.
So if Superman is going to look up to somebody, you better make him look cool.
Yeah.
He better look really cool. And he looks really cool. So the art was really
also, it fits their power set. John being nonchalant just kind of makes sense in this situation. He doesn't have a lot to feel threatened by.
No, I agree. It worked out really well. It's a story. It's Nightwing and his two little brothers.
Yeah.
And it's really neat, and it's a great tie-in. And the cover was great. The art was great. The execution was great. I have nothing negative to say.
Yeah. No, it's just solid.
Yeah.
Throughout. I really like the beat where Nightwing and John stop Damian from killing someone, a bear, sort of. Gale. He just stops him from killing Gale. Because it's kind of just like a commentary on Damian's whole history. You know, they're like, he would never let himself live this down.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of just showing how far he's grown. And honestly, I think it's an unfortunate trend where before Josh Williamson picked up Robin, he was kind of this character who kept reverting to his past self when he first shows up. Yeah. He keeps going from I'm the one who has seen the darkness, who now sees the light, to I'm the darkness of the Bat family. On par with Jason Todd, I want to kill everyone. We keep going in this circle. I appreciate that we're in a space where Damian can have moved on as a character.
Yeah. And it's Taylor, King, and Williamson doing that.
Yeah.
It's Williamson, that 17-issue Robin run. It's King doing the killing Alfred, giving Damian a reason to be even better.
Yeah.
It's Tom Taylor just doing this kind of stuff all the time.
Just having fun.
Every time. Another note about that moment you mentioned, I could probably talk about this book forever. I really pulled a lot out of here. I think that moment where they both stop at the same time is both a comment on what you said and a comment on Tom Taylor's writing in itself. I think he's making a comment that he has these goals for these two characters, Superman and Nightwing, and that's to not actually violence, to prevent that from happening.
Yes.
And furthermore, be the watchful eyes over
the youth in some extent too. You know, there's a real theme in Nightwing of making spaces for the youth to feel safe and develop as into the best adults they can be.
And who is John, but also the youth, you know? So I think it killed it. It absolutely killed it. That's why it's above Wonder Woman. I think there's more depth to be pulled out of this issue of Nightwing than there is the Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman's just
I'm surprised how much we got out of it. I definitely think higher of the book now after talking about it.
We do that all the time. We'll talk about the book and go, wow, that was better than we even thought. This is why I made it to the show.
Yeah. I remember with Transformers 1, it was almost like that. We were already raving about that book.
Let's go back to Transformers again. Buy Transformers. It's better than this book that we just even went over forever. All right, our last book, Phantom Road. We're probably gonna have to keep pretty quick. Yeah. I don't remember what happens in here. I know that it begins with them seeing this thing born.
No, and then, that's how it ends.
No, every issue of Phantom Road begins with the end.
Oh, is that what that was?
It's this glowing moment, and then the end ends this glowing moment. Then you have the thing.
Oh, you're totally right.
I don't mean to be right, Chris. I just every now and then my memory is like this did happen. After that page,
hasn't it been a couple months since Phantom Road came out? Because I know I read the last issue, but I just feel like it's been a while.
It was a 4 or 5 issues hiatus.
Okay,
3 or 4 month hiatus, and now it's back.
Because I read this issue and was like, I thought I was gonna have to catch up. It's like it's been so long since I read Phantom Road. I feel like I must have missed some issues, and then I looked at the last. I was like, no, I remember the Beaver being around, being a weird dude.
Yeah.
I don't entirely remember the context for it, but this happens in the book, and that was where we left off. So just when that page started, I was like, okay, we're doing something. I forgot they all start kind of in medias res. You're totally right. The book is just the next step of their adventure.
I don't even. Oh, we didn't hold it here. I'll do both.
They're the same cover.
They are the same cover.
Not to discount Walter. His cover is just plain.
Whoever did this cover just killed. I like the image of this bear carrying this weird humanoid thing. Also, this thing totally spoils the ending of this issue. I didn't know.
I think that's what the last one
until now.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing.
But Chris, the summary.
Yeah, no, it's just them going more. They get there's a beat where the truck stops in the apocalypse. They have to fix it real quick. They keep going and they make it to a rest stop.
The truck
they can finally they talk to that
they have to repair it.
That guy. What's
Hawaii.
his? Hawaii?
They call it
Hawaii. Yeah. I was like, it's a state or something.
He's wearing a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah.
It's like they're basically their like mission director. And there's no reason that
he
they
tells
have.
them like a little bit. But they forget to tell him about the most important thing, which is the walking, talking bear who killed a bunch of those weird things. That might
they tell him
different.
They tell him about that.
Why did they not tell him that?
I don't know.
They forget to tell him something that was important.
I don't know. Oh, the dude in the cloak that we don't really even have any background on.
Okay,
You probably don't even remember the dude in the cloak.
not that much. Yeah, but they just keep going forward.
Yeah, you're so right. The summary's a lot more simple. Yeah. So
And they finally go to this rest stop. They're having a little internal conflict. Both people still don't know who each other is. They both kind of try to pry into the other one's life, but they both reject each other's attempts.
To add a little bit more to what Chris is saying here, we have two main characters, Birdie and Gabe. Birdie and somebody. Dominic.
Yes.
Dominic and Birdie. They're on this pilgrimage. They don't know why. They don't know how. They got roped into this out of nowhere. But there is background, and there's a reason why. We keep on getting led by the writer to think that the reason why they're on this is something relative to their background. However, they both refuse to give their background to both the reader and to themselves, and that's what this issue is all about. They have a couple moments here where they're stopped. They're not driving.
Yeah.
Either the thing was broken, or they stopped to talk to Hawaii in a gas stop, or they're back in a hotel in the real world because they get an opportunity.
They get an opportunity to go to the real world. They're taking advantage of it.
And at all of these opportunities, they try and talk and they get nowhere. And that's the one thing that's missing from this is a lot of background and history.
Yeah. Did you get the same vibe I did that somehow this book is about parents? In this book, in specifically, I picked up a lot of like parental elements between these two characters.
Yeah, and also the angel that showed up, the angel angels in religion, they're supposed to be like they watch over you, they guide you. You can pray to them for guidance.
Just like some of the dialogue, I wrote down this quote: "We won't let anything happen to it. Promise me, Dom. Promise me we won't." It just feels very parental, very protective.
And I'm under the impression that he lost his kid.
Yes.
The kid's dead. And
yeah,
so
he mentions not having felt this feeling since ... So there's something going on.
Probably an opportunity for him to redeem himself, and if we can collect that about him, we can collect that about Birdie.
Yeah.
Maybe she had a miscarriage or something terrible.
There's this like swaddled baby imagery with the egg at one point.
Yeah.
And there's this like, again, they say we're in this together. It's all very parental how they're treating this.
Yeah. You took that away bigger than I did, definitely. That wasn't one of my notes, but that's definitely something going on. And one of the things that ties into is there's just a lot of subtle things in the panels.
Yes.
This whole book is filled with subtle things. The chapter itself
is very
easy
cloak
to
and
summarize.
dagger. Both characters are keeping a lot from the other. Even Hawaii is like keeping them at a distance about what's really happening.
Yeah. And then there's our third main character who's not in this issue.
Yeah.
Who we had basically all of last issue, which is the detective in the real world trying to figure out also what's going on.
Yes.
Who's also missing some parts of her own history and background. Probably, once we figure all this out, we'll build our whole story of what's actually happening on the Phantom Road, why we're driving this creature to where it's going.
Yes.
By the way, at the end of this, after they're done talking and stuff, they get back in the truck, this thing's glowing. No, they're still in the hotel.
Yeah, it's in a bathtub.
This thing is glowing out of nowhere. They go into the bathroom, and it's born, and it looks like just a baby version of all these weird zombie creatures.
Yeah.
Like nothing special at all.
But it looks like it could speak a little bit. It says something vaguely, which I feel like they've been silent up to now. So I don't know if this is like
well, maybe I thought they were
special
making
version.
noises, but
It
I
might
didn't
just be
remember
a
the
noise.
noises. So
again,
this,
it
just looks like it's a baby version of these things. That's definitely what the takeaway is.
Yeah.
Is that this thing is one of those things.
And adding to the mystery of all this thing, it's a good reveal. It's nothing shocking, but it's
shocking because we've been beating these things to death for 7 issues, and now we need to carry one specific one. What if we've been destroying like its progenitors or something like that? What if if this is a biblical story, our main characters may be going to hell now immediately, because they don't know what's even going on. These things remind me of like lost souls on a road that just don't know what's going on, don't know where to go, but they can feel a presence, and so they're gravitating to that presence. And so Dom and Bird, you have to get them the hell away from this presence or whatever. I wanted to make a note. There's a part where Hawaii gives them a gun.
yes.
And I thought that was so jarring in this comic book. 7 or 8 issues in, this thing has been like dealing with what's real, what's not real, what's on the road, what's not on the road, biblical, fantasy, science fiction, all this stuff. And you get given a gun.
Yeah.
The harsh reality. And it is so jarring, and it gets time. It gets like a panel or two. You see this gun, and what did I put? The power a gun has, even in fantasy land.
Right. Well, especially with the reveal at the end, it's like we're kind of humanizing these monsters now that we know the thing we're protecting is one of them. Yeah. The weight of that gun is only going to get heavier as the story goes on.
Right. It's kind of like this issue. If its purpose was anything, it was just to turn this story up a little bit. Yeah, just increase our investment.
Give us some downtime so we can really up the stakes too.
Yeah, yes.
Let's give it a second so we can let things happen.
The title chapter is "Don't Leave." Do you have any? Do you think there's any reason for that?
I think Birdie says that to Dom. I think they kind of are trying to stay together, just because they're kind of in a bad situation. Neither wants to be without the other right now because they kind of become both protective and reliant on each other to just stay sane.
That's the same thing. This is a solid reason, solid chapter title. I like the wobbly lines and stuff that Walt is still putting down. It makes me constantly question if where they are, where they actually are, where they aren't. Even when we're in reality, some things are wobblier than others, and it makes me question what the detective is seeing or what her influences are. Maybe. I feel like they've showed us she's been on the Phantom Road before. We've seen the background of this bear. It's all destroyed. So maybe that affected her, right? Maybe her reality isn't actually what is going on. Who knows? Where
she probably has the most information of all of us, too. I do remember her getting some file on the Phantom Road that we just weren't privy to the information.
We didn't see all of it, but what we gathered was her dad had something to do with it. And that was the call she made, right? The other issue. I kept getting Florida Secret Service agent vibes from Hawaii. Like, it reminded me of, those Hawaii Five-0 shows and stuff. Like, he's got a gun. And
or, Magnum P.I. or something?
Yeah, but specifically Florida. Just because of the Hawaii shirt and how laid back he is. Like, he could kill somebody and go, that was cool. Importance of creative comforts when facing the intimidating, inevitable, arduous journey. They get a chance to sleep. And I was just thinking, how good that feels when you've just been on a 3-day thing and you get to get into your own bed or whatever it is.
Oh, yeah.
It's not even their own bed, but it's something better. It's something just as good.
It's not a truck.
No, it's not a truck. So, that give almost gives them enough energy to be more willing to jump back on the road and finish their mission and stuff. Also, it also brings the reader back to realizing that these are people. These aren't just you're not just reading a sci-fi epic. You're reading about people who need to sleep, who need to use the bathroom, who need to eat, who need to do these things, who make decisions that aren't always good. They carry guns.
Yeah. At least one of them does.
Main characters keep avoiding the past. We mentioned that, ignorant to the possibility that the past might provide them both with the insight to their current predicament. I don't think I had a lot more written down over here because I think we've pretty much beaten this one up.
There's a lot of really interesting intrigue and subtlety throughout the sort of laid back pacing of this book. I would say. Yeah,
that's 100%. It's a really subtle issue, providing a whole lot more background than you could even put together in just by reading it. You kind of have to lay into these images and these words to really collect a little bit more about this story.
Right.
And in a way,
and I think as we've even proved, you can get multiple interpretations out of it.
100%. And Jeff Lemire's books often read like that. That's what he wants the reader to do is to be constantly questioning what is happening and what's gonna happen. So you keep buying the title realistically.
Yeah.
This is how you'd want to write ongoing titles. I wish Jeff Lemire was back on the superhero books and stuff that I like.
Yeah.
I really love reading Phantom Road and stuff like that. But I'm not that into biblical stuff. Normally this wouldn't be up my alley. It's just the people who are working on this book are so
very
incredibly talented and capable that it'd be ignorant for me to not be reading this book. And it is dancing on the line of my interests. It is questioning faith.
Yeah.
Questioning.
You mentioned enjoying the subgenre of trucker stories.
That too, yeah. There's a lot of stuff going on here that are stimulating me otherwise, and therefore there's a lot going on in this book for those reasons. So that's why it's at the top. I don't. After talking about Nightwing, I still feel like Nightwing was the better issue, just because of how damn fun and rewarding it was.
Yeah.
But if you hadn't been reading Nightwing and you just got Nightwing 110 out of nowhere, I don't know that you'd feel that way. But I think if you picked up Phantom Road #8, I don't know why you would. But if you did, and you picked this book
You
up,
probably want to read the first 7.
you'd be left with nothing but questions going, what's happening?
Yeah.
Just because of, maybe the story isn't that, like, hitting you, but that image at the end with this, like, decrepit-ass thing that got born out of this thing, and you know that's how the issue started up, it really gets you like, wow, what?
And we've seen Dom kill these things in this own issue. There's almost a self-contained story here where it's like, okay, here's these people protecting this, like, prodigy egg. It's very important to something. I don't know. They're killing these things to get by. They're like zombie pastiches. Okay, whatever. Character stuff, character stuff, character stuff. Oh shit, the creature is one of them? That's immediately like, I need to read the rest. What am I missing?
So
I want to keep reading.
So, yeah, the imagery in this is really powerful.
And it's something about that bear.
Yeah.
And there's a beat we didn't talk about. Birdie doesn't see the bear when she sees whatever that is.
She
won't.
Oh, she sees an angel. It was 2 issues ago. That's why I didn't mention it.
Okay.
There is a beat that we didn't talk about though. Is this dude in the cloak? They mentioned that they mentioned to each other there was this dude in this cloak that was like they found a campsite a couple issues ago.
Yeah.
They stopped at the campsite. They saw fire. You remember the fire?
Yeah.
And then a dude ran. Birdie saw a dude ran. Dom must have saw him too. And then we've never seen that dude again. We caught the bear. Everything else. So that dude is somebody who's just running around on the Phantom Road. That's a beat that I missed to mention.
I'm wondering if whatever this creature is, it like
the bear.
Yes.
Okay.
It applies to like your comfort source.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
That's what Hawaii said in the issue. He's like it changes shape based on what the person wants to see.
Because
she wanted
Dom
to see redemption, so she saw.
And
that.
for Dom, this Billy Bear creature is like some sort of savior to him because it's where he sleeps. It's where he sleeps and gets his food.
Yeah. But the dude in the cloak running around with the fire that they didn't meet, I'm confident is the detective's dad.
Probably.
And why? Because the only images we get of the detective in youth is her being dragged away from what I'm assuming is her father, who probably was going to turn into one of these soulless things and was dragged away from that.
Also, we're 8 issues in. I'm imagining this is like a 12er. 12, 13.
I could see it ongoing.
Maybe.
Gideon Falls? For reference, Jeff
to be fair, I've only read Little Monsters and I'm aware of his other stuff. I'm
Jeff
used to
Lemire
it as a
book.
12er.
Another Jeff Lemire, but I don't know if Little Monsters hit a hiatus. I don't know if Gideon Falls did either. But Gideon Falls was like 20-something issues.
Yeah.
He does long ones, Descender, Ascender.
I thought those were 12. I guess I'm wrong.
If they are, the omnibus doesn't look like 12. So I don't know where this is going. I could read it for however long he wants to write it.
For sure.
So that's cool.
I'm just saying we need a beat to tie all our cast together. They're kind of all over the place right now. They're in different spots of life.
Yeah, if we realize that that's her dad, that would bring it.
Yeah, bring it all together pretty quickly.
So you got anything to leave off on here, Chris?
I think I talked about my main notes. I really took away that parental theme. I don't know where it's going. I'm sure you're right.
I think
they both have lost a child in the past.
Yeah, I think we're following right along here. Solid week in comics.
Yep.
You're missing out if you ain't reading. What else is there to say, right? Dan
Yep.
Mora does some sweet stuff. We didn't talk about Dan Mora enough on this one.
No.
Dan Mora. Nightwing covers.
Dan Mora is off Shazam with Mark Waid. They're doing something big. Hopefully it's good.
Oh, that's funny because somebody just dropped that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. Catch our Shonen Jump, our January 2004 Shonen Jump.
Yeah.
Stay posted as the show comes out really sporadically. We apologize.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here. Take care.
Have a good one.